As we climbed out of our chilly sleeping bags the next morning, we were hunting breakfast and excited about the trails that lie ahead.
Okay. Nothing like hummus for breakfast. What is up, everybody? Day 2 here at Harlan. We didn't get a whole lot of video last night. Unfortunately, once we got to the campsite and got everything set up, it got dark pretty quickly. But we're here on the trails now. We're heading out. We just left the campsite. I have the caboose roll here since I have the newest rig, kind of spot people ahead of me so I get a good idea of what lines and everything to take. Just as kind of a secondary opinion, but we'll bring you all along with us on the trail today and show you everything that's going on, and we'll see what this taco can do. I'm not the only stock rig out here. I also have a 3rd gen 4Runner ahead of me that only has a center locker and is still on the street tires. So I would say I'm equally, if not more capable than that vehicle. So we'll see kind of how the taco compares to that and how the taco compares to all the obstacles out here at Harlan. So we are running at about 18, 19 PSI right now. Probably could have gone a little bit lower, but this is probably more than fine for what we'll be doing for today. It just makes the ride a little bit softer. You can see the 4Runner ahead of me is also running about 18 PSI or so. So we are using a CB radio to kind of keep in touch with everybody else in our group. It's an important asset to have when you're in a big group, just in case there is something coming up. And with people like us that are here towards the back, it is kind of good to know if there's a fallen tree or something's happened to somebody's rig or what have you. So we do value this type of thing to have. You can get them pretty cheap.
Our camping spot was actually on the other side of the mountain from the rest of the trails, so as we climbed in the rigs that morning, we went up and over the access road that would take us to the trails on the other side. We were not alone, however, and a lot of these guys were on the trails with us.
You want to take the right trail up ahead, the right line up ahead.
While you have to trust your spotters, you'll soon see why you have to take everything they say with a grain of salt. Not that these guys were trying to lead me astray, but obviously there was no way I was about to make it up the obstacle that lie ahead.
There's no chance. You told me I'd had to. What? You told me to. There's no chance that's gonna work. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way. I'm gonna get high centered on that rock. I can't make it. I can't do it. It's not in the attitude, it's in the ground clearance and the breakover angle.
So, using my best judgment, I decided to go around.
Certainly is bumpy.
Yeah. It's soaking it up nice though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's not quite as quick a dampening as some more higher end shocks, but it's really not that bad.
Yeah. Soaks it up better than my truck.
I wonder what would happen if you took a TRD Sport over this hard of bumps. Like, how bad would it jar it, you think?
Might have a headache after the trail.
Yeah. Right.
They were on that small trail over to the right. Oh, well, they're right behind us now.
It sounds like. I mean, sometimes you just got to play around with the locker and the forward low. You just got to drift back and forth and pop it in drive and pop it in neutral and
all that, yeah.
try it a couple times.
You would think by now they would get pretty good at making it work all the time.
They do work. I mean, you just got to be patient a little bit.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Oh, it's hard to tell. If he can do that without scraping anything, we can.
I think so too.
We're higher than he is.
He's really flexing though.
Yeah, he is. It's probably the most that 4Runner's done.
Go straight up this shelf. A little bit of a sideways hop, but pretty uneventful. Hitting about 20 degrees on the tilt meter here on the dash. A little bit of wheel articulation there from the JK. See if we can follow that same line. A little bit of a rock face here on the left side. We'll just ease it down off of that. And back. So while these BF Goodrich tires aren't exactly the best in mud or any slippery conditions really that I've come across, they are pretty good here on exactly what we're on right now. This kind of packed dirt with some leaves and some loose gravel and that sort of thing. They're really, really sticky when it comes to this kind of thing. Whereas if you had a mud tire out here going across these dry rocks and everything like that, it could get a little bit tricky at times. Alright, so this is quite the descent, so we'll put it in 4 low. That click in. We're actually going to do crawl control this time. All the way on low. What do you see?
I see you're fine right now. Just keep going over. Hang on, right at the second position.
This is not the recommended way to do this with people under your truck, I don't think. We just had a Jeep come over here and pop the bead off, so I'm trying to use as much caution as possible. We just had that 4Runner come through and everything was fine, so I'm just kind of stacking some rocks where the shelves drop off. How much room? Alright, I'm gonna try to let off brake and let crawl control take over. We good? Yep. Straight? Alright. Clear of it? Alright, thanks. So we got to the end of the trail that we're on, and apparently it has a bunch of big drop-offs that would absolutely kill some rocker panels. So we are all turned around and heading backwards out of this trail. As you saw on the way down, it was a bit tricky, but we are getting out of it pretty good. The key is just to go as slow as you can and as fast as you need to. That's pretty much the best off-road verbiage to live by, especially out here. So everyone's 4 low, lockers if they have it. We're just gonna crawl on out of here and hopefully everything works out good. So we have remained in this convoy pretty much the whole day. You know, just kind of making a big loop around the entire park, doing most things that, you know, we could all do. There were a few bypasses that we could take, but honestly, the rest of the trail was just as bad as the bypass, so it wasn't really worth taking. We hit some blues, some greens, and a couple of reds. The one we had to turn around on was actually a red. Probably if you do drive a stock vehicle, you probably want to stay away from reds. However, some reds really aren't that bad, so it's kind of misleading. You know, you may get on one red that, you know, you can easily complete in your stock vehicle, and then you get on the next red like we did, and you have to turn around and go the opposite way all the way back to the trailhead. So it is a little bit misleading, but you know, if you use your best judgment, and if you do want to play it safe, you know, you can definitely always stay on the blues and greens.
With a full day of wheeling behind us, we headed back to the campsite and began dinner. In the morning, we inspected our vehicles, aired up, and hit the road for the journey home.
So we're all aired up, gassed up, and back out on the road. All the rigs seem to be performing just fine. We are headed back into town now. We're about 3 hours away, but we're back in Virginia, and everything seems to be going fine. So moving forward, if you plan on taking one of your vehicles to an off-road park, definitely take some spares with you. We had, I believe, 3 punctured tires over the course of our weekend, 2 actually on the same vehicle, and so definitely take a spare, but also take a spotter for each vehicle. Even if you don't plan on doing super technical driving, there still may be an obstacle that you run across where you want that spotter. I definitely used my spotter a lot, whether that was Chad or whoever else was around. I really didn't want to mess up my truck, and it wasn't worth, you know, just hammering down and trying to plow through the obstacle. Definitely, if you have stock vehicles, probably blue and green trails are where you want to be. As I said, we did end up on some reds, and we actually ended up turning around on some reds and going all the way backwards throughout the trail because we couldn't cross some obstacles. But, you know, just take everything that you're doing with a grain of salt. You know, don't try to be overly confident, don't try to show off. It's just not worth breaking anything. However, if you are responsible and you take things slow and methodically, there's not really a whole lot that can go wrong. So would I recommend you all off-roading your own personal rigs? Absolutely. You know, whether you have a 2-wheel drive truck or a Subaru Outback or a 4-wheel drive fully built rig, I think you'd have a lot of fun, and you'll learn the exact limits of your driving, your vehicle, and you know, the combination of the two. So most of the easier trails we were just running completely in 2-wheel drive. And then for some of the more challenging stuff, we had to go to 4 high, 4 low, then engage the locker and so on. We didn't use crawl control a whole lot because most of the obstacles that we were facing, you need a little bit of momentum, and with crawl control being limited to under 5 miles an hour, that's not really going to help you with those sorts of obstacles. So obviously I did learn a little bit where the limits are with this vehicle and where I want to go with it in the future. I think tires are definitely in order at some point, but you know, all in all, I don't plan on off-roading this truck at parks and that sort of thing all the time. I think if I want a true dedicated off-road rig, I'd pick up something a little bit cheaper, you know, that I'm not worried about body damage and, you know, just little scratches and that sort of thing. You know, this is still a new truck, and it's still, you know, I'm still paying on it and everything like that. And I really do want to keep it nice, and it is my daily driver. But overall, we had a really great weekend. We had a good time with all the guys, and we can't wait to hit some more trails before too long. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little weekend adventure that we had. Stay tuned for a lot more, and we'll catch you next time.
See you next time.